Cathar Love 109. The Tree of Knowledge. I met a young lady the other day at this business I was attending, and she was wearing a pendant. Well, actually it was a medallion, a silver medallion about half an inch in diameter, and on a silver chain. And I said to her, you're wearing a Gnostic symbol. Oh, she said, what's Gnostic? So I explained to her that the tree is also called the Tree of Knowledge, Bath. Is it a Jewish term given to it? The first letter, I believe, meaning door to knowledge. And over the next 3 or 4 minutes I explained a little about some of the basics of Gnosticism, but in the main explaining that Gnostics need to think for themselves. They need to reason for themselves. They don't have any other person, priest, imam, mullah, guru, anybody, tell them how they should think, reason, and live their lives. They take full responsibility for their mind, body and soul. Well, she says, but I do, that's what I do. She said, I believe in taking responsibility for myself. So she might be a Gnostic and not realise it. So I didn't go into some of the other deeper aspects, talking about the source, the origin of all things, and the fact that heaven and hell doesn't come into the Gnostics' parameters, because we have reincarnation and we just go on lifetime after lifetime until we get to that point, that stage of perfection, where we no longer need to tread that wheel of reincarnation. And I didn't go in to say that the knowledge to the Gnostic is the key. And in this world of information, disinformation, fake news, being able to reason, think for oneself, is even more important. But also, part of that Gnostic symbolism is the serpent, and one can often see, if one looks up symbols for Gnosticism, that there's a serpent wrapped around the trunk of the tree. So to some of the early Christian sects and cults, the Gnostic ones, the serpent is not there as a symbol of evil or the devil. Rather, it was there as a liberator, to liberate us from false knowledge, from ignorance, basically. Because the greatest sin to a Gnostic is the sin of ignorance. And the very word Gnostic means to know. And if one believes one has eventually acquired the correct knowledge, then one is attaining gnosis. Of course, we have the word agnostic, means not to know. Words are important. I've made a point, as much as possible, of keeping certain words out of my personal vocabulary. Words like hate. I don't hate anybody, so I don't have any use for it that way. A situation I don't consider hateful. It might not be what I'd like. Do something about it, I will. I don't believe in using the word can't. I don't even like hearing the word, someone says, oh, I can't do that. Why say it? already you're computing your mind to stop you from doing it. If you have it is difficult, or there is difficulties, that's okay. You will overcome them, or maybe you won't overcome them. But the point is not to say can't, but to give it a go. And if somebody else can do it, it's a fair chance that you can do it too. You may not do it as well, you may do it better. For many people, it's one goal after another, and that's fine. I'm not into goals. I pursue something because I like it. I aspire to do it because I enjoy it. Something gives me satisfaction and contentment. But at any time I can go off and do something else, and it's neither a success nor a failure. Two other words that I'm not particularly interested in using either. So this is just a way of keeping negativity out of one's life. Some people will often say, I'm sick of this and I'm sick of that. So that's not a good indication. And it's quite possible that the person's already has a problem and is sick. So wars start with words and wars end with words. Words are important. I was raised a Catholic, and we had a visitor from the United States of America. He was Father Kowalski, a tall, good-looking priest with the greatest, a grin, wonderful smile. And we were with the Catholic Boy Scouts. They didn't have any Girl Scouts in my little hometown. And we were trudging over some hills and dales, and we stopped for a cup of tea, brew some tea. Them that drank it, and he posed us this question. He said, does God make anything ugly? And we said, chorused, no, Father Kowalski. He said, yes, that's right. He said, God makes things of beauty. And he said, also, that your body is a thing of beauty. And he said, there's nothing evil about your body. So he said, contrary to what any other priest or nun, or even your parents say to you, I'm telling you that your body is beautiful, and it's as beautiful as the other things that God has made beautiful. And we all chorused, yes, Father Kowalski. But the point was, those words, that small 3-minute conversation, has saved me from a truckload of guilt over the years. Yes, it's I'm also, they say beauty ugly is that it's in the mind, it's in the eye of the beholder. But when I came back from the Korean War, I ended up going to art school, to the National Art School, and I was a young guy, and young guys are pursuing young ladies, and romances in the air. And there wasn't many naked forms around in those days. It was pre-Playboy, and so it's a bit hard to avoid the naked form these days, one way or another. But I was at art school, and we had our each week we had 2 hours of drawing, during the nude drawing, nude sketching. And I used to just think, wow, we'd have models of 18, 30, 40, whatever, all different shapes and sizes, men as well as women, but mainly women. And not only were they naked, but here we were, having to sketch every little hump, bump, rise and fall of the human body. And not only was the breast, but you had to sketch the breast and sketch it exactly, and the nipple and the aureola, everything. The other thing, of course, our mind's there, and we're going flat out sketching. And if one wants to go and make it, make it a sexual scene, one would have to stop, change one mind, and put it into sex mode and stare that mode. But we were students, and everyone's trying to beat the clock, and so it might be a 5-minute sketch. So in that 5 minutes, you try and got to get down as much as you possibly can and do it. So, but it was an eye opener, and it was there when you see women, a woman, and I was only a kid. I was 20 years old at the time, and a 40-year-old woman may walk in, and you think, oh, gee, she's getting on a bit, and yet. And she takes off her clothes, and there's the body, and you just realise just how beautiful the human form is. Even when it's getting older, there's so much beauty. It's like the phrase in the movie, The American Beauty. He said, "There's so much beauty in the world." He said, "I feel as if my heart would burst." And there is so much beauty in the world. There's lots of things that aren't so beautiful that go on, but there's certainly that balance and beauty that contrasts the things that aren't so nice. So, with the Tree of Knowledge, the snake, it's all about liberation. And even to the Christian Gnostic, because we have Jewish Gnostics before that, and Gnostics belonging to other groups as well. But to the Christian Gnostic, even Jesus wasn't here as a saviour. Jesus was here as a liberator, and his job was to liberate us from the sin of ignorance, because to the Gnostic, the greatest sin is the sin of ignorance. I had lunch with some friends who I meet not that often these days because of circumstances. And one couple belonged to the Russian Orthodox Church. And he talked about some conversations he was having with his priest, who he was on good terms with. But at the end of the lunch, I was thinking, heaven and hell feature very much with this couple, and because they're quite religious, the male more than the female, and also they're getting on in life, so they're nearing that final drama, which a lot of people would like to avoid if they can. It's called death. And so I think heaven and hell are starting to weigh a bit more heavily upon their minds. But I thought, isn't it great? Gnostic, Cathar, we don't have this heaven and hell. We don't have day of judgment. It just doesn't come into our lives. And my partners are Chinese, but also I've met so many Chinese who good people, wonderful people, honest, just delightful people, and they seem to get on very well without any religion, without having to worry about I'm sure they have their spirituality and but this heaven and hell business doesn't enter into their lives. So I find there very, very negative aspects, and so thankfully I think that's the most wonderful thing about Gnosticism and Gnostic Catharism is it liberates you, it frees you, there's a sense of freedom within it, that you can live your life out to its full potential. And that's the sexual component, whatever it is, as long as you're not hurting anybody. You don't have all these impositions of marriage and things like this upon you. If you want to get married, then fine. If you don't, that's fine too. If you're desperate to have a child, well, that's fair enough. But if you don't want to have children, that's fine too. The world has got to have overpopulation. There's a lot of young children who could do with a helping hand. So the biggest thing I could say to anybody about Gnosticism and Catharism is it is a philosophy. They are philosophies of liberation. They're not philosophies of salvation. They're not out to save you from anything. You in yourself are already perfect, more perfect than you will probably ever know. So I've said a bit more than what I could say to that girl, that young lady, over the 3 minutes. But I would have liked to explain a lot more to her. Enough. I just want to remind you that on a reminder on Sunday at noon, 12 o'clock, we'll be doing another half-hour healing, and that's for yourself, for somebody else, maybe something that's to do with yourself. At the moment, I'm getting rid of. I just up here a basal skin cancer. I've had it there for about 20 years, but a few weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, it started to think, oh, that's getting a little bit red, and it's starting to annoy me. It's time to get rid of it. And of course, I'm using a cost-effective method with meditation. It costs nothing at all. It just takes a bit of time. And about 8 years ago, I had to go to a doctor about something or other, because I keep away from them normally. And she said, oh, we can put some liquid nitrogen on it. And she did that, and it had a scab, but it was still there. So I thought, oh well, it's time to get rid of it. So already it's disappearing, and it's not red anymore anyway. So this is healing. This is meditation. This is stillness. This is using it to do things, because we can change things and things within our body. So to this end, the healing is there on next Sunday, on 5th at 12 o'clock, and it's for the people who subscribe. That's this group of people that I try and keep it contained within that area, within that group. It's not to exclude people, but it's just something that I can think about, because that's a specific group of people. And now, I usually finish these sessions with a minute just of stillness, silence. It can be again for healing. In my minute, I'll probably think about my basal skin cancer, about it disappearing and moving. So I use my minute towards that, and I also use it to wish you all everything that you'd like for yourselves. Okay, 1 minute coming up. Bye for now. Talk to you soon.